Here are the stories that we're tracking for you today. With thanks to the Supreme Court, millions of Americans could now soon be facing eviction. The nation's highest court, late on Thursday, blocked the CDC from enforcing the federal moratorium on evicting renters during the COVID pandemic in a 6-3 decision. The court's remaining liberal members, Justices Breyer, Kagan, and Sotomayor, dissented. The ruling is a defeat for the Biden administration's effort to continue the moratorium. Earlier this month, the president acknowledged that a new ban may not be constitutional.
The bulk of the constitutional scholarship says that it's not likely to pass constitutional muster,
but said that it was worth a shot to try to help people. In the majority opinion, the 6 conservative justices said Congress had to authorize the moratorium rather than a government agency. Democrats in Texas gave the battle against voting restrictions everything they could, broke quorums, fled the state, faced arrest, used every tool out of the toolbox. Unfortunately, on Friday, the curtain lowered on their attempts to protect the right to vote in the Lone Star State. Following the 80-41 House vote on Senate Bill 1, the state will soon see new restrictions enacted, including limits on early voting hours and other measures opponents say will raise new barriers for marginalized voters, especially voters of color and people with disabilities. Why are these men so happy? Because they're rich AF. The pandemic brought significant financial hardships to many Americans, but the country's billionaires remained relatively unscathed. And by unscathed, we mean they actually got richer. Way richer. $1.8 trillion richer, in fact. The $1.8 trillion the ultra-rich earned during the pandemic is enough to pay off the entire $1.7 trillion student debt crisis and still have lunch money left over. I think it's being spent on rockets, though. So, sorry, kids. Apple buckles to antitrust pressure. Apple announced it would make big changes to its App Store as part of a proposed lawsuit settlement with developers. A major concession after years of mounting regulatory scrutiny and legal challenges. The company will let developers tell its iPhone and iPad customers about ways to pay outside the official App Store, it said in a news release late Thursday. It also expands the types of prices that developers can offer for subscriptions, in-app purchases, and paid apps, among other initiatives. The settlement still needs to be approved by the court. Stat of the day. The NFL says that 93% of players are now vaccinated against COVID-19. It's an encouraging milestone, but the league says it wants to do better. The NFL says it wanted a mandatory vaccination policy and remains interested in implementing such a requirement, but that the Players' Union wouldn't agree to it. The Players' Union says the opposite is true, that the decision not to make vaccination mandatory was done by the league. The league says it also asked the Players' Union to adjust its protocols in order for vaccinated players to be tested weekly instead of every 14 days. Unvaccinated players are tested daily.